Hi everyone, I'm hoping that you can hear me and I hope that we're all going along well. Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia and welcome to my channel. Today is our regular Thursday live that I'm doing with you, and I just wanted to touch base, say good day and get crafting. Now, I know there's a couple of you that do wait for these times of the day and do come and watch me on a regular basis, and I really appreciate your support. So I have got a couple of different things happening. I've got Facebook Live and I've got YouTube is going live, and shortly I will be switching on for Instagram. Instagram is one of those things that I have a tendency to wait until I start crafting. So I do like to say good day and catch up with everyone. So if you're watching in replay, feel free to squeak through a little bit or fast forward through a little bit until we actually get to the crafting. Now, there's a couple of things happening in the Stampin' Up world. Celebration is still happening. We've got new goodies that have been added to the celebration offering. Spend $100, get free goodies. Some of the items from the annual catalogue have been added to that as well. So I will chat about them along the way. But the reason why I'm telling you is because I am doing I'm going to use one of the stamp sets that we normally would use, or that not normally would use, one of the stamp sets from the catalogue, the little celebration catalogue. I don't have one here on my desk to show you, but you know, the little one that I'm talking about. All right, so I am going to switch my cameras over. I'll just move everything up into the middle and I will click go live on my Instagram. Okay, so don't be surprised if we get Miss Eilish on here, and we'll see how we go from there. All right, so welcome. Like I said again, we're going to be playing with friendly seagulls. We've got I've got my markers here with me. We do have a promotion running currently that if you join Stampin' Up, you get to pick 2 packets of these markers for free as part of the joining kit. That's one of the options. The other options are extra value added to your cart, an extra $51 if you're in Australia added to your cart of your choice. But I think these markers are really good value. They're normally at $62 RRP each, and you get 10 colours in each one. So essentially you buy 4 packets, you've got all of our main colours. Okay, Stampin' Up has 40 different colours in our main range, and then we have 2 sets of our in colours. So there's 50 colours in our range. Now you can purchase these separately. This is our stamp cases, for want of a better way of putting it. As you can see, the stamps come in that, but you can actually purchase them in packets of 4, and I use them to store lots of things. And today I'm pulling out my watercolor paper from this particular packet. These guys here will migrate into these. They fit perfectly. You can actually cut that out and just stick it in the little sleevey bit, or you can make something pretty and you can put all the colors down the side, whatever floats your boat. Okay, so I've got these, so that's they're in the online store only. You'll find them in there. If you have any trouble locating them, just give me a hoy. So what I've pulled over here is Friendly Seagulls. This one is free with the shop. This one here is Elements of Text, and it is one of my, I think it's going to become one of my new favorites. I don't know if you guys remember Very Versailles. I used to love that stamp set. Well, this one's, I went away on the weekend and this one got a nice workout. All right, so this one's a photopolymer stamp set. This one is a cling. Okay, so red rubber. You'll notice it's already got black ink on it because I was using it with stays on, and I have a tendency when I'm using it on these, I get a bit lazy and I don't wash it off. All right, so let's get what colours we've got happening here. I've got some basic white for my main colours, but it's been a while. I'm going to make a card with some black cardstock. Did I bring a bone folder over with me? Surely I did. Ah, yep, here's one. So just a piece of regular A4 cardstock cut in half. Whatever market you're in, just use the size that you would normally use. It would mean that other pieces are not going to match, but you can make do with this one. Now, I haven't decided whether I was going to use Night of Navy or whether I was going to use some Pool Party. But I'm actually thinking Pool Party is going to work for me, so I'm going to just chop up some Pool Party. It's not one that I prepared earlier. But Night of Navy, Pool Party and Black actually go quite nicely together. They're a very nice combination. Oh, I've got a piece of Designer Series paper stuck in there. Sometimes I've been doing a lot of cutting, and yes, hi Cheryl, hi Chris, hi Laurie. Yes, Cheryl, this is on YouTube as well as Instagram as well as Facebook. I'll often, if I get these tiny little pieces here like this, I'll often fold them in half. You can use a paintbrush, but I'll stick it in my groove here and I'll pull it down. So I've got it stuck in the groove. And if you look down here, which is off the camera, look at all the fluff that's in there. Can you see it? That if you get that fluff out on a regular basis, a little paintbrush works beautifully. The little brush from our embossing kit, it actually works quite nicely as well. All right, just keep that fluff down to a minimum and your blades won't get as blunt as quickly. Okay, so I did heaps of cutting with this one, so this blade's probably on its last legs, but that's all right. And I know what my card fronts I like to be, so I'm just quickly doing that. But I'm thinking I'm going to need to decrease the size of it, but we'll see. And I am not entirely convinced I'm going to put this basic white piece on here yet, but like I said, we'll see. All right. I did bring over an embossing folder in case I decide to emboss. And somewhere here, because I'm actually thinking that I might end up doing that. All right, but let's play. Okay, so this stamp set does not come with dies, but they are fun. But they need a background because to me, they need something beachy. So that's where this piece comes in. Now, bringing in our markers, this is watercolor paper. It's just going to suck the moisture out of here. But what I want is I want some Night of Navy, some Misty Moonlight. So what are you? You should be Misty Moonlight. You should be Night of Navy. And then I'm actually I will get some Pool Party. That's Coastal Cabana. I don't want that one. Pool Party's in my, over here. Here's Pool Party. And I will have this one here is Balmy Blue. Okay. And you could probably do this something similar to this technique with the alcohol markers, but I'm using watercolor markers today. Okay, so it's up to you what you do and how you do it. I have a watercolor brush. I'm making my background first, and I'm just going to make this a little bit wet to start with. Come on, baby. I just want to make sure too, I was playing this with yellow on the weekend, so have I got a spritzer with water in it? That one's got alcohol in it. I'm going, how do you know that? It's got, can you see that? ETOH, that's alcohol. So I want the one with water. I need to make a better sign for my alcohol one. All right, so I'll just give it a bit of a spray. All right. Then what I'm going to do with my markers, because if you were a new stamper and you didn't have all the different colours, there's one way you can use the markers. You cannot put them straight in there. It will go yuck. But you can do this on your block. Okay. And then you can do this on your block. And essentially making our way down in our colours. Right, so that water's now soaked in a little bit. And I've got some colour there. I'm just going to pick up some of this moisture from this piece here and put it on here. But there is actually water in my brush, and it's saying, no, I don't want to play. Oh, that one's alcohol on. I don't want that one. Might give it a spray as well. You can then just put it straight onto here, but I'm just going to make a background essentially, and I'm going to work my way down my colors. Okay, and you can always put more on. You cannot take it off. So just be aware of that when you're putting the color on, because you don't want to then have to go, oh, that's a bit dark. Okay. And you know what? There's no right, there's no wrong. Just have a bit of fun. Okay. But our seagulls need a bit of water background. Okay. If you need more color, that will need to be dried before you draw on it again. Wear something black and you can wipe it on your clothes. Otherwise, you can just clean it on your chamois. I am going to add a bit more of my, this one's the Night of Navy. Okay. Just because I want it to be a little bit darker in places. But while it's still quite wet, you've got a lot of play with it. Okay. Once it starts to dry, we're going to let it dry. And the reason why I'm doing this first is because I want to be able to come back and play with this. Okay. All right. I will have a little bit more of my pool party because I just want some, wrong end. And pool party is quite light, so it will be very difficult to see. But you can see it and you will be able to capture a little bit of it, especially if you're picky about where you put it. Okay, so let me pull that up and show you what I mean. Can you see the different colors there? And I'm just going to pop that to the side to dry, as well as that. I'm just going to wipe that block off because I'm liable to stick my arm in it. All right, so we'll just let that dry over there. I'm just going to dry my table here because I am liable to stick something in it, let me tell you. I'm very good at that. Okay, that will need, you can clean that off with just running it under warm water, cool water, or you can actually just wipe it off on a cloth. It'll come off if you pop it onto your chamois. We will be using that, but in the meantime, while we're waiting for this to dry, we need some seagulls. Okay, so I've brought over the memento. So I literally brought over memento and markers, okay, because my little seagulls are the cutest little guys, and there's so many different little sentiments in here. We will have a bit of fun. So I'm going to shout from the rooftops with this seagull because I just think they're the cutest. They're brand new, so I'll just give them a bit of a clean, okay? Because when they're new, you'll notice that they have that film on them. I talk about the film on a regular basis, and you need to just get some of that off. So the sayings we've got here: hey friend, I love you more than French fries, chips, whatever you want to call them. So we actually probably need the seagull that has the chip in its mouth. And okay, so, and I will like some shells and some fish, so I'll just give the rest of them a clean whilst they're on this. Right. So they've just had a bit of a wipe over. Okay, so let's, I store my memento upside down. I don't know about you guys because it's not one of our stamp pads per se. It is our stamp pad, but it's not one like our ones that have the upside down option. So we'll have a seagull that's screaming it from the rooftops. One that's not really listening because he's facing the opposite direction. And one that was a bit starving. Oops. Don't mind me, just make a bit of noise. Okay, and while we're here, what I might do is I'm making a portrait style card. So I might put the French fry guy in here. All right. Now, he's in there, and we've got a little bit of water still on my brush, which I've put somewhere that is going to annoy me now because I can't see it. Oh, here it is. What I can do while there's still a little bit of water on here, I can actually make it so that my little seagull is standing in the water at the front here. Because this is basic white paper, it doesn't like water, all right? So just be aware of that when you are colouring it in. It's less is best when it comes to water with the basic white, okay? So this is almost dry. It's still very blue, but it's almost dry. Okay, so I do want to clean it off because I want to use it for some other colours. All right, so I'm going to let those guys just sit here for a second, that one in particular, and I am going to fussy cut these out. So I do have my good fussy cut snips on the table. Our snips are super duper sharp, and I can fussy cut with glee with them. And I can fussy cut with glee today because Amanda's back at school, so she won't be watching. So she won't tell me how much she hates fussy cutting. We went scrapbooking on the weekend. I went to a retreat, or a crop as they call it, and Amanda fussy cut it. And everybody, I was very surprised. I even sent photos to our group chat of I've got a couple of, not only do I have a VIP stamper group, but I've got a group chat with the girls that come to class on a regular basis. And I sent a photo of her fussy cutting because they would have all been absolutely gobsmacked that she was doing it because they know how much she hates it. But the thing that she did turned out really good, and the butterflies she fussy cut were really cute. So it was all good. So I offer a retreat. I offer stamping classes each month. The retreat's a couple of times a year, 3 times a year, sometimes 4, depends on how soon we get that first one in. My next one is at the beginning of March, and I do have a couple of seats left if anyone is interested, but you will need to let me know ASAP because I do need to finalise the orders for it. Got to hold my tongue right while I'm doing this. Move the paper, not the snips. If you do need some snips, these are our paper snips, but they are super sharp. Keep them away from these bits of skin because it makes a mess of your card when you bleed all over it. Let me just say, I know that from experience. All right, and so fussy cutting some seagulls is always fun. So I try, it's funny because I have a tendency now to not fussy cut them on the line. I fussy cut around them. How hard would it be to cut those legs out if you were fussy cutting legs? You could, actually you could, I think Chris has got a better offer. You could cut them on the line. Actually, I will, what I'll do, and there's something that you can do. You can actually you can stamp on wherever you're going to put your bird, and then you can add your body separate. And I will show you what I'm talking about, actually. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. But because I might come back and cut them small. So I do have a tendency to cut them like as if I would have, if I had a die. This one doesn't want to play nice because it's got a little tight little beak. And I leave the little bit of white edge around them. But you can cut them closer if you like. So it depends on what sort of fussy cutting you like. And it also depends on how fiddly it is. Like if it's really fiddly, you don't want to be cutting right up into its face or right up into all the little fiddly bits. By leaving a little bit of a white edge around it, it allows you to then leave this piece in the middle for the legs and all of that sort of stuff. Okay, so it just depends on what you're up to. All right, and okay, we've got bird number 2. I sometimes colour them before I cut them. Other times I cut them other times I'll cut them first. It just depends. fussy cutting takes a little bit of time, but it's something that you can do sort of sitting in front of the telly, listening to a story, talking on the phone. You don't actually need, as long as your hands are free, you can do it. If it's a television show that you sort of can glance at and you don't actually have to be watching quite intently, then you can do it in front of the telly. It's up to you. You can do a whole heap of stamping and fussy cutting and then colour which ones ever you cut the best. I actually find it quite relaxing. One of my friends at the crop on the weekend actually just sat there and fussy cut the whole time. She just loves it. So, which was quite amusing. I had one person sitting beside me that hates fussy cutting and one person sitting across from me that loves it. The banter was quite fun. Alrighty. So there's my 3 seagulls. So let's get colouring with some seagulls. So because I brought all the markers over, I'm going to use my neutrals for the seagulls mainly. But they will need something from one of the other packets. So this is the neutral pack. Right, they definitely don't need blackberry bliss, but I can get away with pecan pie or even crumb cake for their little beaks and their little feet because they're seagulls. This one here is smoky slate, so between that and grey granite will do their wings. All right, I'll put everybody else back. So let's start with crumb cake. Now, because they are little pieces, I am going to come in with the pointy end. It's up to you which end you use. I mean, seagulls have probably got a bit more orange in their feet, actually. And I would be inclined to say they're very Cajun crazy. I think this is probably going to be a better colour. Where's the scrap? Let's see. What do you reckon? Cajun craze or, oh yes, Cajun craze it is. Let's go over the top of that one, see if it makes a difference. Well, this is an old seagull. He's got really dark feet. Whereas this guy, his feet are a little bit lighter, so he's a bit younger. And we'll go with this one. So depending on what you're colouring, depends on the top, whether you're using the brush end or the front end. And actually, I need to do their beaks. So he can have, you can just hear them going, mate, 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 can't you? All right, especially that one with the chips. I think I'll use the word chips because that's what we call them over here. They're more French fries and more American, although they look like the French fries you get from McDonald's. Okay, and where's that scrap? Because I'm wondering if smoky slate is going to be a bit dark for this guy. So it's a little bit dark. So what I might do, where is my, put a little bit on here. And less is best when it comes to water in this case. And I'm going to use the smaller brush. This one's working better. Just get the water happening into that. And I don't want a lot of water because my black memento will run. If I'd used Stays On, it would have been a different story. So I'm just getting it a little bit damp, just encouraging that water down there. But I don't want it to be sopping wet. Okay. So a little bit of water, and I'm just going to come in here and give this seagull a little bit of colour on his wings, but I'm going to try not to wet that memento too much. Okay, because you don't want it to bleed. And we'll give this little guy here some on his too. Okay, I'll just let those dry while I come over to this little guy because I forgot to do his feet as well because he needs to match our front. And I probably should have put one on the front on the envelope too because then I could do all my bits at the same time. Okay, so let's colour his feet. And this time I've got the brush end, and it is easier with the bullet end, I will tell you. Although that little beak that he's got there. Okay, let's have, for the French fries, I think I'm going to go with some Daffodil Delight. Oh, crushed curry, Daffodil Delight. Let's go with Daff. That was crushed curry. Okay, and you need the pencil end. Look at him, he's winking and everything, this little guy. All right. Okay, now that I'll just get rid of that dark grey there. I'm going to colour the next layer of his wing. I will use Sahara Sand, I think. No, your crumb cake. That's grey granite. Where did my other one that I wanted to go? Smoky Slate. A little bit different, but not too much. And I'm just going to put that in that stripe there. Okay, doesn't have to be, it still gives you like a watercolor look. It doesn't have to be exceptionally neat, because I don't know about you, but have you ever seen a pristine seagull? I mean, they keep themselves fairly good, but they're not that good. Oh, hi Sharon, how you going? Happy birthday. Like she said to me this morning, all the best people are born in February. All right, this piece here is dry now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my bigger blocks. This is block E. You will need block E for this stamp set, okay? This stamp set, this one actually needs a bigger block again, but this little guy here needs block E, and I love these guys. All right. Actually, I love them all. It's just, it's such a nice stamp set. Okay, actually, we might pull this one out. I can't decide what I'm going to use. Okay, this piece will fit. This is all text. You do have to be aware of what way up you are putting it. Okay, just saying. So just keep that in mind. All right. So, and I don't know if you can tell, but can you see how that little bit there on the corner is shiny? I've put a little piece of plastic on there, so when I go to pull them off, I've got an easy bit to grab. Okay, might actually use this one, not that one. So I don't need that big block. All right, I'm going to bring in my memento again. And again, there is words on here. It talks about a bit about spring. And I'm just making a little bit of an impression with this. Okay, no biggie, just changing it up a bit. Okay, just for something a little bit different. Okay, and you will notice I did a couple of different stamping of it. I just want the fact that it's grungy. I don't want it to be anything in particular. Okay, so these little guys here are the cutest. Okay, now what we've got to decide is what we're going to do with our background piece. Whether we are going to stick some white under here and maybe do a little bit of embossing, that sort of stuff. Or the other thing that we can do, because we might make it a little bit, let's have some fun. Okay, so I'm going to emboss this piece. And I've got my, I've brought over the brick embossing folder, which needs the base plate, the embossing folder, and our piece of cardstock in the middle of it. And it does need to go in with our folder, our crease first, or our folded bit first. Just shove that through there. Okay. And what I'm going to do with it, just to give it a bit of colour, because look, we've got all of this Night of Navy everywhere, and so far we don't have any Night of Navy anywhere else. We need to make this look like the part. Okay, so got a couple of things that you can do, because we've only got our markers, because we're new and we're starting out, we've only got our markers. A couple of things that you can do. You could color the inside of your embossing folder if you wanted to. You could do some, you could if you had a stamp pad, you could wipe it across. You could actually add some color in other ways. But what I'm going to do is I am going to bring over a blending brush. Now, I would normally just dip them straight into my ink pad, okay, as would, I'm sure, everybody else. But again, we can just draw on a block, or if you've got a glass mat, you can draw on your glass mat and you can pick up your ink that way. Now, I don't want to make it all navy. I just want to make some of it navy. And because we're using the blending brush, it's going to go into our grooves, but I don't necessarily want it to, okay? But I want to just make it so that there is some navy brought in, okay? And you'll see how the brush has picked it off there quite nicely. Okay, we'll just put a little bit there. Now I'm thinking that because we've got, is that the piece that was actually too big? It is. Look, that's not the piece that I cut up. It's over here. All right. Well, guess what? Now I need the trimmer because this piece is too big. Oops, they're going to birds. They're all flying around. Okay, well, so much for that idea. But we'll trim some of this off. Okay, I might actually make it a bit smaller. And you will get a little bit of fluff because of the embossing, but that's all right. That's my card. That's another card. Okay. I'll use this one. I actually want a piece of basic black. Not much bigger than this, okay? Because I do want to frame it. The class that I did on the weekend was with Lisa Oxley. And if anyone's watched any of her videos, they are not only lots of fun, but she uses black on everything because black to her is a colour and it is actually one of the main colours. Everything in the world has black in it. All right, so something to consider. Now, because I've done some chopping, I need to have a little bit more ink. So I'll just wet that again and we'll just put a bit more ink on here. I did the bottom as well. Okay. Oh boy. All right, so that is going to be, that's going to look good on there. Like so. Okay, now these little guys are not floating, going to end up floating in the air. We need to work out how we're going to make them stand and what they're going to stand on. One's going to go in there, so you can slip in there right now. Okay, and look, if you wanted to, white would work. Okay, so you don't need all of the colors, just saying, white would work. Okay, but I like Pool Party. Don't know what that noise came from, but that's right. So a bit of Pool Party, a bit of Night of Navy, and these guys. Just a little bit of colour. Now, I have brought over with me some ribbon. Now, this is our really nice, I love this large check ribbon. It is in, the colour at the base is very vanilla. So if you wanted to change that, you can run your brush over it with some blue on it. And that'll just take out some of that colour and add a little bit of colour to it. But the choice is yours. It's very subtle because I haven't added any extra ink. And it's literally, it's just, essentially it's whitening it off a bit. And I don't know how easy that is to tell. Can you see that there's a little bit of colour? It's actually quite pale. All right, and here somewhere I have got my tear tape. I'm going to put some tear tape across here. Make sure my words are up the right way. Yep. And I'm going to tape this to the back. Okay. And I'll tape this to the back. And it's a seagull and it's a bit fun and whimsical, so it's not going to get a bow. All right, because I know there's quite a few people out there that struggle with bows, but you know what? A knot will do just as good. Okay, so I've used all the bit that's blue, that's got that slight tinge of blue to it. So it's up to me whether I add a little bit more blue, which I will do. And again, bring in my block, add some ink to it, put it on my brush, make it all nice and wet. Just huff on it a bit. Take off stop it from being so, I don't know, yellow for want of a better word. Okay, this changes the color. It's almost like it sort of takes up some of the color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip this underneath there. And because they're seagulls and we're at the beach and we're a bit, I don't know, whimsy, we're just going to have a knot. Okay. Now it's a little bit longer than I want it, so we'll just trim it down. Okay, and pop that to the side. All right. Now with these offcuts from here and here, this is what we're going to do. Now I did have, here's one. We need to make our sentiment. Okay, so we've got, hello friend, hey friend, and we're going to have, I love you more than French fries. Okay, so we want, hey friend. It's up to you whether you trim this down first, because these words will fit on a 1 centimeter strip. So, hey friend. And it's a bit of a fun, a funky way of writing, okay? So we can actually have a bit of friend, a bit of friend. I love you more than French fries. Okay, hey friend. And yep, I'm going to trim it up so you will notice that that is upside down in comparison to the other one. French fries or chips? Chips is going in here. Okay? All right. Because that is my inside. But everybody else is on the outside. So to continue with our theme, all right, I'm going to get my trimmer back in. Now these trimmers are Smith. They will cut something that's long and skinny and with accuracy. So you can, as long as you've got your tongue right, you can cut a 1 centimeter strip very nicely. Now, because I've cut that as a 1 centimeter strip, I'm going to need this to be about 1.5 centimeters. All right. And I don't know if you've noticed when I'm cutting stuff, I do like to trim from the bottom and push it up. I just find that not only does it cut better for me, I don't have a tendency to end up with crooked lines. All right. So, love you more than friend. Hey, friend. I love you more than French fries. Chips, whatever floats your boat. So let's put this together. Okay. So we need our glue. My favourite is our liquid glue, as you all know if you've watched me before. If you haven't watched me before, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you know when I go live. But I will tell you it's approximately, in summertime, it's around the 4 o'clock on a 4 o'clock in the afternoon because the light is best on my desk. And during winter, I sort of switch it up and go to 3 again because the light is better at that time. Okay, I'm going to pop this one on. Do I want to put it on flat? How's it going to sit? Yeah, it's going to sit all right. Sometimes it doesn't sit so crash hot when you've got ribbon underneath there, but we'll be rather generous with our adhesive. And yes, I do leave those pieces on there. I don't need them to stay on there, but I don't need to use them to make this stick because it will stick without them. Okay. This is going in the mail, so I normally don't do double side. Like I'll put one lot of dimensionals on because I made it so chunky. It's very slippery. I don't normally put more than one lot of dimensionals on it if it's going in the mail. So, and I want one of these gulls to have some dimension under him. Okay. So, and I'll put this one on. Could also stick the inside in if I wanted to right now, making sure that's straight. And if I've done my bricks right, there we go. Got to hold your tongue right when you're doing that bit, don't you? Okay, so where's all my birds? Need my birds. Who are looking very white. They do look rather pristine though, don't they? Now this guy up here, he's going to be one saying, hey friend. And these two are going to be sort of hanging around. Hey friend is going to sit on here. So this is often the way that I'll layer things up. I'll do them like so. It's great. It's a great trick for scrapbookers as well. It makes a great way to journal just by having like little, I don't know what you call it, little frames around your sentiments or around whatever it is that you're writing on your journaling. It's a nice quick way to journal. It's great for putting dates on it. Oh, speaking of dates, if you've seen if you're a scrapbooker, Sharon, I am talking to you, and anyone else that is, Lisa, if you see the new perpetual calendar, it has the months in it. So that little guy there, he's shouting out to my friend. I don't want him floating in the air, but he's going to stand there like he's standing on, I know, on something, on that piece of ribbon. Okay. And I'm going to stand him on a piece of ribbon too. It's like it's the edge of the water. Aren't they cute? They're just so cute. All right, where's my dimensional side? So you may need minis for this, just saying, because the seagull's beaks and heads and feet are not that big. And take your pick tool is hiding out over here. I find that with the minis, you really need to take your pick tool. Okay, just saying. They just come off so much better and they land on things so much easier with it. Okay. And I will admit though, the hooky one of these things is better for getting them off. Okay, so he's going to be standing here on there. Oops, he's a bit crooked. Oh, actually, he's not too bad. And hey friend can go on dimensionals, but this one can have big ones. It's a bit like, what do you like? Oh, I didn't use my seashells. or my fish. Hey, friend. Okay. Because I'm going to have that sitting over the ribbon, I'm not going to put any dimensionals under that part. I'll just start them up here. And this guy's got a big butt. And oh, probably should have used a little one there, but that's okay. I have a tendency not to stick dimensionals onto ribbon because they don't stick that well to the fibre. But I do like having fibre on my cards. So now the $100 question is, where does this guy going to sit? He's sort of looking like it's not going to work. He could sit there, but he's sort of, actually, I'll sit him there. Okay. Didn't want him to feel like he was not the star of the show, you know. Oh, that one's too big. Okay. And move over to the minis. Put that one there. I did this thing the other day, guys. I signed up for the Royal Easter Show again. So we'll see how we go. Last year I did all right, so I'm hoping that I do all right again. Oh, now I've done what I just told you not to do, which is put a dimensional on your ribbon. But that's all right. We'll see how that's going to work. Okay. All right. And I love you more than. I need some seashells on here first, so. Oh, look, there's even birds. I could have put birds. There is too. All right. No, getting away now, but I do want some seashells. There's also little sand, for want of a better word. Okay, let's do some sand. Okay. Ah, that makes it. Look at that. Yeah. Can't get in too close because now I've got a seagull there. All right. Where's my inside? We'll give him some sand. He might stamp it off first. Yeah. He's on the tide line. Okay. And the birds. The birds are really cute. They're just little tiny birds that are flying in the sky. Okay. And they're flying off into the distance. A whole heap of birdies. Okay. Either that or look out, here come more. You know how seagulls call to their friends. All right, let's pop this on the inside. I got this stamp set because there's this bird at, when Mum was working at Circular Quay, there's this, it was like it knew, this seagull knew that she was an easy target, and it would come and take her chips, her food, whatever it was that she was eating every single time. And it became a bit of a joke that, and she'd post photos, and if anyone wants to check it out, my mum's actually got a Auntie Judy fan page. So she's actually got that sounds really bad. She's got her own Facebook page. If you look up Auntie Judy, you'll find her and you'll see some of her seagull escapades, for want of a better way of putting it, from when she was at Circular Quay. So she did have a lot of fun. Now, I haven't done the envelope, but I will do the envelope because I did bring it over here, and I don't like having cards without matching envelopes. So I'm going to, but that turned out pretty good, didn't it? Yes. Sorry, Cheryl. Cheryl's complaining about a colour that she hasn't got. She'll be right. I'll put some birdies on it, and then I'm going to put a seagull on it. Okay. And I'll just put them off like they're coming into land here. There's quite a few seagulls there, and you can put seagulls all over the back. Oh, don't want to do that. Let's put the shouting guy, like he's calling out their address. Woohoo! There he is. He's got a big mouth and he's yelling at them. Oi, you, come here. We need you. Okay. I was going to say it's pretty much dried up, which it has. Envelopes are a lot less forgiving than even basic white. So I've just put a little bit of water on that block up there. So it's barely touch it with your colour. Okay, because envelopes will not are not forgiving in any way, shape or form when it comes to that. Okay. All right. And where did I put my little dotty bits? Here. And what I'm going to do is where I've got the water here, I'm just going to okay. And there's a bit too much moisture there, so I'll just go like that and dab it up. But see how that's made that little bit of a like a little scenery there for him. Okay. And we'll colour this one in the same. These are not like our Stampin' Blends. They won't go through to both sides. But I'm just going to give him a little bit of colour to his face because he's screaming, and you know what seagulls are like. And I'll just give him a little bit of colour. Not a lot, but I didn't want to use the water this time. Okay, and there's my envelope. So markers, no designer series paper, markers, stamp set, friendly seagulls, free whenever you put it, if you choose it when you pop a $100 order in. Markers, 2 packets included in your kit if you decide to join. More the merrier. You'll see there's a link in my notes. But what do you reckon? How cute is that little guy? Hey? And this one, I love you more than chips. What a fun. How fun's that? All right. Thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you all next Thursday. And it's been lovely. Oh, hold on. What have we done here? How have I done that? You've got both photos. Huh? Okay, my extra camera's gone a bit weird. I didn't realize that you didn't actually have me. How bizarre. Let's see. Nope, there is. Well, I could do this one, but that means that is very weird. Take that one off. And we'll bring this up here, and I get to say toodaloo everyone, but I've got to look over here because that's where the camera is. All right, I will say hooray, and I will catch up with you all next time. See you later. Bye.